They were living on the edge of heartbreak, two lives drifting apart in a slow drift of grief. Morning light filters through partially painted walls as Tim and Olivia, a couple teetering on the brink, sit across from each other at breakfast, her hand stills on the cup mid-sip. They've lost a child. She wants to run away. He wants to stay. But overnight, the world shifts. The front door won't open. The window is sealed. The brick wall, black, sleek, alien, surrounds their entire building. No light, no Wi-Fi, no water, only silence. The wall pulses with magnetic hum. Knives bounce off it, drills shatter against it. It's a prison built without doors. They scream, they pound, they try everything. But the wall doesn't budge. It's a force field made of vengeance. They taste dust, anxiety, and disbelief as the world outside disappears. Their phone rings, no signal. Outside noises fade, only their panic echoes. In desperation, they tap into the walls between apartments. A pilot hole becomes a portal. Crack through the shared wall, and they escape into the neighbor's flat. A pair, Anna and Marvin, coked out, screaming. Their Airbnb tour turned nightmare. Anna bleeds. Marvin lashes out. They subdue him. Olivia, once an architect, sees a plan, smash the plasterboard floor. Below, they tumble into another flat occupied by Oswald, a gun-toting old man, with his granddaughter Lee tucked behind him. He raises his weapon, but Lee calms him. They're not thieves, they're trespassers with purpose. Escape. Behind broken smoke alarm panels they discover cameras. Not just motion sensors but surveillance. Someone's watching. Always. Behind them, in the next apartment down, they find the landlord, Mr. Friedman, dead, his hands missing, eyes wild and fixed on monitors filled with tenants' footage. Fear shifts from wall to watcher. That's when they decide, survival is group work. They break through to hell lower, deeper into darkness. In proximity, they meet Yuri, a conspiracy theorist convinced the wall is protection, a new era of defense. A nanotech shield against unknown threats. But once the group moves down to the bomb shelter tunnel, a World War II relic, they find not safety, but yet another wall. Panic multiplies. Marvin fires a pistol at it. Metal rushes away. Magnetic force reversed, bullets flying back and killing Oswald straight in the chest. Fear becomes grief. They gather around his body. Ancient alliances crumble. Anna sobs echo. Marvin begs forgiveness. She pulls away. The group is fractured, lost, desperate. Then they find Anton's apartment. He'd cracked the code, a light-based program that unlocked the wall. But Anton never escaped. Yuri choked him inside. Before his last breath, Anton recorded the visuals to open the wall, tiny flashes of pattern. They load his footage on old monitors, security cam rewind, the code. They know what to do, but don't trust themselves yet. Back in the basement they apply the code sequence, a light show. Brick turns liquid for seconds. Tim reaches in. Olivia follows. It seals again before they pull Anna out, her body caught in the shift. She collapses, split. Nobody moves. Blood pools in silence. Marvin, madness is final. He uses Oswald's gun to kill Yuri in retribution, then turns the barrel on himself. The death tally narrows until only to remain. They stare at each other across debris, bare hands on dusty concrete, a lifetime of grief condensed in one breath. Olivia's tears fall. Tim steadies her. He says the words, that perhaps the wall was built not just of nanotechnology, but of pain. That their grief built bricks inside them, long before the real ones appeared. With trembling fingers they enter number sequence, carefully numbers, beams of light. The wall dissolves for one final time, brick by brick, mist to ruin. They slip through the basement tunnel into the streets. Darkness breathes around them. But the horror isn't behind, it's ahead. Every building rising ahead is encased in the same black armor. Cityscape swallowed whole. Silence is louder than screams. A distant radio report confirms what they feared. The wall was a failed Epsilon nanodefense experiment. A fire at their facility triggered citywide lockdown. No alien invasion, no government war. Just broken tech, broken watchmen, broken humanity. Tim lifts the radio. Olivia grips his hand. They slip into their VW bus. Engine turns. Headlights cut through blackened streets. No relief, only resolve. They drive off into nothingness, escaping not just walls, but everything they were. No promises, no future, just two people against the dark. It starts with a teenage summer camp, where a young Adam and Emma awkwardly cross paths. They barely know each other, yet there's a strange spark between them, two teens who feel out of place in the world, but recognize something familiar in one another. The years pass, and their paths keep randomly crossing, at a college frat party, at a funeral, even in random moments of chaos. But life keeps them apart, different cities, different relationships, different distractions. Now in their late 20s, Adam works as a production assistant on a terrible TV show one his father, a former famous actor, used to star in. His life feels like a joke. His father's now dating Adam's ex-girlfriend, which sends him into a self-destructive spiral. Emma, meanwhile, is a no-nonsense doctor who's all about keeping things casual. She's focused, brilliant, and allergic to emotional attachment. Her time is spent working 80-hour shifts at the hospital, not falling in love. One night, after a drunken bender and a series of awkward texts, Adam wakes up half-naked in an unfamiliar apartment. Turns out it's Emma's place. She and her roommates took him in after he showed up at their door at 2 a.m., completely hammered and offering cupcakes in exchange for a hug. It's weird but not unwelcome. The next morning, something happens. Something inevitable. Adam and Emma sleep together. It's casual, natural, no expectations. But instead of running from it, they both decide to lean into it with rules. No cuddling, no jealousy, no falling in love. Just sex, whenever they want, with none of the emotional mess that comes with a relationship. At first, it works, it really works. Their chemistry is undeniable. They meet in parking lots, stairwells, hotel rooms. It's spontaneous, passionate, and oddly perfect. They keep things light, they joke, they text each other code words. Emma's walls are firmly up, and Adam plays along, happy to be close to her in any way. But cracks start to show. Adam begins to want more. He brings her a mix CD, he holds her hand, he looks at her like she's more than just a hookup. Emma recoils, she reminds him of the rules. But he's already breaking them emotionally. He wants to take her out on dates. He wants to cook for her, he wants to be let in. Meanwhile, Emma keeps pushing him away, she's terrified of losing control. Love, for her, means vulnerability, and she's seen too much heartbreak to let that happen. When Adam finally confesses that he wants something real, she shuts it down. Not cruelly, but coldly. She's just not ready. Or maybe she's just scared. They part ways. Emma buries herself in work. Adam tries to move on, even goes on other dates, but no one compares. They see each other again when Adam's father ends up in the hospital. Emma, being on duty, has to treat him. The awkward tension between her and Adam is heavy. He tries to act unaffected. She pretends it's fine, but it's not. They're both aching. Time passes. Adam channels his heartbreak into something creative. He starts writing. His boss notices. He begins getting real recognition. Emma, despite her efforts, can't stop thinking about him. When one of her patients dies, she has a breakdown, and the only person she wants to call is Adam. They meet again. This time, it's more honest. She apologizes not just for rejecting him, but for not being brave enough to let him in. He listens, but he's guarded now. He's not angry, just tired of chasing someone who doesn't want to be caught, and yet, Emma surprises him. She asks him out, not for sex, not for a favor, just to get pancakes and talk. From there, their story begins again, but different. No rules, no walls, just two people, figuring it out. Emma opens up. She shows up to his events, she brings him food at work. She even lets him into her home, and her routines. For the first time, she's not keeping love at arm's length. Dylan realizes that Jamie isn't just another name in his contact list, she's his best friend, his safe place. The only person who challenged him and comforted him at the same time. And Jamie, she feels it too. That maybe she's been looking for love in all the wrong places, when it's been right in front of her the whole time. The movie builds to a grand gesture. A rom-com moment Dylan would have made fun of, until now, because love. It doesn't follow the rules, it breaks them. And when Dylan arranges a flash mob in Grand Central Station, it's cheesy, over the top, totally uncharacteristic, but it's real. Because for the first time, he's not scared to feel, he chooses her. Not just for the laughs, or the sex, or the convenience, but for the connection. Jamie doesn't run, she stays. They finally drop the labels and lean into what they really are, to people who belong together. Friends with Benefits asks, can you sleep with someone, laugh with them, live with them, and still pretend it's just a thing? No, because the heart doesn't care what you signed up for. It makes its own decisions, and in the end, love doesn't show up with a contract. It shows up when you stop running and start being honest. Not just friends, not with benefits, but something deeper, something real. I could always tell when someone was lying. It's a strange gift, knowing the truth no one wants to admit. But with her, the lies were different. They weren't meant to protect her, or even hide her. They were meant to keep me under her spell, and God help me, I let her. She had this way of looking at me, eyes shimmering with some secret only she knew, just before brushing past, close enough that her perfume would cling to me for hours. I'd feel it on my skin like heat. That night, the house was loud with music and the hum of drunken conversation. She was inside, laughing with him, another him. Just one more in the constellation of admirers she kept in orbit, pulling them closer until they burned. Melinda, my wife, she thrived on attention. Not just mine, any man's. It was part of our understanding, though I never admitted to anyone how much it twisted inside me. I told people I was fine with it, that it was an arrangement. That I didn't care, but I cared. God, I cared too much. That night, the party was in full swing. Laughter, clinking glasses, the music humming in the background. I was on the patio, nursing a drink, when I saw her again, not just with him, on him. Her hand on his chest, leaning in to whisper something I would never hear, but could imagine all too well. I told myself to look away. I told myself I'd seen it before. But my fingers tightened around the glass until it almost shattered. Then she caught my eyes and smiled. That smile wasn't for love, it was a dare. When he slipped out the back door to take a call, I followed him. Not immediately, just long enough for him not to notice. He was pacing by the side gate, his voice low but hurried. I caught words, her name, a promise, something about leaving soon. That's when I knew. Later, as the party began to thin, I found her in the kitchen, swirling the last of her wine. She didn't flinch when I asked where he'd gone. She just smiled, that soft, sharp smile. Why, you miss him already, she teased. My answer was a smirk that didn't reach my eyes. She was playing a game. I was about to change the rules. The next morning, the news spread like smoke, fast and choking. He was gone. No one knew how. Drowned, they said. In the shallow end of the pool, my pool, people whispered. I listened, and she didn't even blink. Later, I found myself in the kitchen with him, her new friend. We talked about music, work, the weather. Normal things, but I watched his hands. They shook slightly when I mentioned the river, how deep it ran this time of year. And when I said, casually, it's amazing how quickly someone can disappear under the surface, he didn't know whether to laugh or leave. We didn't talk about it, we just went on as if nothing had happened. Dinner parties, walks in town, her little flirtations with strangers. And me, smiling at the right moments, the perfect picture of a devoted husband. But under it all, I could feel something shifting. Like we were standing on a frozen lake, hearing the first cracks echo underfoot. Weeks later, there was another one, taller, louder, more obvious in his intentions. She didn't even bother hiding it from me this time. They danced in front of me at a friend's house, her hands on his shoulders, his mouth too close to her neck. I watched, quiet, patient, waiting for the right moment. That moment came in the rain. He offered to walk her home. I joined them halfway down the street, my sudden appearance making him stutter a greeting. We walked together, the air thick with tension. When we reached the bridge, I leaned over to admire the river, invited him to do the same. The current was fast that night, cold, relentless. One slip, and the river took him. I didn't even need to push hard. That's the thing about drowning. The first few moments are panic. After that, it's almost peaceful. I can't tell you the exact moment I decided to do something about it. Maybe it was when I saw her in the pool with him, laughing, water shimmering against her skin. Maybe it was when he called me buddy. Maybe it was when I realized she wanted me to react, so I did. One moment we were standing there, waist deep in the pool. The next, my hand was on his shoulder, pushing him under. His eyes widened, bubbles rushing to the surface, his hands clawing at mine. Then came the last one, the one who didn't scare easily. The one who looked at me like he already knew my secrets. She brought him around like a trophy, testing me, waiting for me to break, but I didn't. I smiled. I welcomed him in, and I watched. It happened at the cliffs. We'd gone there for the view, the three of us. She walked ahead, pretending to take photos. He and I lingered near the edge, the ocean roaring below. He said something, some thinly veiled threat about knowing things that could ruin me. I stepped closer, my voice low. Then you'd better be careful. The wind was strong enough to cover the sound when he slipped. We drove home in silence. She stared out the window the whole way. That night, she poured me a drink and set it in front of me. Our eyes met. No words, no accusations, just understanding. People think love is about trust. They're wrong. Love is about who you're willing to destroy for it. And in that moment, looking at her across the table, I knew we were going to destroy a lot more than just each other.